Hi there, friends. Welcome to Miss Barone's Read Aloud. I have the book, The Book Tree. That's the title, and I have Felicia Bear here. Hi, friends. How are you? So, let's get started. So, remember story time position, listening, posture. You know all that. You know what to do. Okay, the book tree. The book tree. The book tree. Nestled in the branches of a tree, Arlo opened his book and breathed in. Beginnings were always the best part. They smelled as if anything were possible. I agree with Arlo. I love the smell of a book. I'm sorry, Mayor. I got lost in my book and it slipped. Bonk. The book hit the mayor. It hit the mayor's head. Preposterous! Books are dangerous. I don't trust them. They act like seeds, which grow into ideas, and ideas turn into questions. I will tell you what you need to know, said the mayor. First, the mayor gathered every book in the library, and then every book in the whole town. Then he tore them up until all that was left was a single page that floated away in a passing breeze. There it is, floating away. Arlo chased the page as it blew across town. It reminded him of a dandelion seed drifting on a wish. When it landed, the muddy earth swallowed it letter by letter until it was gone. Arlo thought that perhaps the mayor was right. After all, he'd been elected mayor. He must know something, but without books, Arlo noticed changes wherever he looked. At school, teachers had nothing to read, so story time became nap time. I know pre-K would not like that. If you had to nap all the time, ugh. Without cookbooks, restaurants served only dry cereal. No one went to the theater since actors had nothing to act out. And in the place Arlo loved most, all the shelves were empty. What do you think the building is that Arlo loved most? My favorite building, too. Love, love, love the library. Oh, how sad with a world without books. No creativity. Arlo sat where the last page was buried. He missed the crack and creak of a book's spine the first time you open it. He longed for the smell and the crisp texture of a book's pages. But most of all, he missed getting lost in an epic adventure. Sadly, Arlo scratched 2 words into the dirt. Endings were the worst part of any book. So the words that he scratched into the book are over here. They're upside down. I'm going to turn it over. Can some of you read what that says? It says the end. Look at the kitty cat sad too. But as he stared at the words, they grew into an idea. Arlo sat with pencil and paper and let his ideas flow. He read his stories out loud to anyone who passed by, but no one stopped to listen. Then Arlo heard something, a sound he thought he'd never hear again, that familiar crack and creak. What is the crack and creak? Do you recall what that sound was coming from? When Arlo looked for the source of the sound, he saw a sprout springing from where the page had been buried. It began to open its leaves. It reached for Arlo's words, begging for more. Look what's happening! Oh my goodness! That one page that was absorbed by the soil is growing. It's sprouting. What is it growing into? With every story Arlo wrote and read aloud, the sprout grew. Arlo wrote a story about a giant, and the tree grew tall, stretching for the clouds. He wrote about a fire-breathing beast, and its branches became as strong as dragon's claws. He wrote about a magical swan made of paper, and blooms of tissue paper blossomed into books. What is it growing into? When the books were ripe, Arlo climbed into the branches of the book tree and breathed deeply, enjoying the fruits of his harvest. While Arlo read, a friend stopped under the tree. "I'm bored, there's nothing to do." "You could try reading," Arlo said. "Is that a book?" "Yup, here, I love this story," Arlo said, giving her a hand up into the tree. The two shared the shady spot. Soon flocks of readers roosted on the limbs. Books spread through the town like pollen in the wind. People grew hungry for reading again. Some wrote their own stories and became book gardeners themselves. Fiery maples bloomed with picture books, willows wept with poetry, and fruit trees filled with cookbooks flourished. As the trees grew, the town blossomed. The mayor, lost in his mayoral work, was oblivious to all the changes. That is, until a ripe book fell on his head. Bonk! The mayor kicked and stomped. "Who planted these trees?" "You did, sir," Arlo said. "When you tore up the books, it planted an idea." "Impossible! This is the second time my head is hurting because of a book. The trees have to be cut down." "But we've become a town of books and stories. You can't cut them down," said Arlo. The mayor walked the streets of the town. He gorged himself at one of the five-star restaurants, caught a show in the park, and lost himself in a story about a boy fishing for a whale in a puddle. He looks like he's enjoying himself reading that book. "Books did all of this?" the mayor asked, astonished. "No," Arlo said as he handed the mayor a freshly picked story. "The book was just the seed." Now, do you think this is fiction or nonfiction? Look at the cover, and we'll go back and look at the illustrations. Those kinds of illustrations usually indicate that it's fiction, which means it's made up. But what a fabulous story. Can you imagine a world with no books? Oh my gosh, how boring. I wonder if you can create a book. Can you write a book? We know how to make a book because we've done that with journals, right? We've got paper, and we've made a spine, and we've taped together pages. So think about creating your own book. Mrs. Flannery and I would love to hear it at one of our check-ins. Hope you enjoyed that, friends. Bye.